afternoon. I've had stuff that I've had to do all day. So I'm a little bit late coming in here. For the first time ever, I truly believe this child trafficking mess is all being investigated. There has been an uptake on my blog, a considerable uptake in the past week and a half. I guess it's all those 3 and 4 o'clock voice messages that I've been leaving. I just go look up the numbers for politicians and anybody that I think can help. And I call them at 3 and 4 in the morning, knowing that I'm getting their business phone. And I just leave detailed messages, who I am, where they can find me, where my stuff can be found. Hey, Susan. And so I think that that's been having an effect. I think that people are starting to realize, and I do that on purpose, leave messages at 3 and 4 and 5 in the morning because I know no one's going to be there. So I'm able to just leave voicemails because they can just go look at my stuff. They don't need to see me. I suppose I should make it quite clear to everyone, because the idiot this morning is, oh, we're going to get you to commit suicide. That's never going to happen. There's no dog in the background. I'm not suicidal. I'm neither a physical threat to myself or anyone else. Am I a threat to these fucking child killers? Oh, you're damn right I am. You're damn right I am. But what they fear most is exposure. We are witnessing the fall of Babylon. I think the reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene has changed her tune is because she's been one of the people that I called late at night, early in the morning. Joe Rogan, same thing. I've been contacting everybody and just having them go look at my blog. Telling them that the worker bees of this child trafficking operation need to be investigated. And I know who the worker bees are because I've been at this for so long, you know? And so it's been, I think that for the first time ever, it's being investigated. I think for the first time ever, people are actually taking this to heart and seriously looking at it. There's a lot of people in town who believe me. Oh yeah, there's some people in town. Fuck, they don't care. They're just mean asses. They're gonna ignore me because I'm gay, you know, and they're reliving their high school life. How awful it must be to peak in high school. I'm 58 years old and I still don't feel like I've peaked, you know. Just keep going. And so but I think for the first time ever, this is actually being investigated. It's all being looked at. I know that there's been a huge uptake on my blog. And so I think people are actually starting to pay attention now. And funny enough, they care. You know? Oh, look, it's Gio, the one who tried to convince me to commit suicide. He wants me to ask for donations. He's really serious. He wants me to ask for donations. You know? But right now, everybody's hurting. And there have been a couple people who donated, and I don't need that much to survive. So I've been incredibly appreciative that people have helped out. And they hate that. They want to destroy it. But the problem with them is that people actually like me, but nobody likes them. Nobody likes Gio. Gio, this magnificent cook who was stupid enough to murder my friend and then brag about it on YouTube along with Daniel Dowd, says, oh, well, you were eating pizza that was takeout pizza on your video. Dude, it was DiGiorno pizza. You know? Cost me $5. You would think this great cook that went to culinary school would actually be able to see the difference. It wasn't that fucking hard. You know? I think that things are being looked at, finally. I think that things are being investigated. I think that people are very interested in the worker bees because nobody's going to trust those files now. If they come out with the Epstein files today, will any of you believe it? You shouldn't, because they're wasting all the government is down because you know that they are just scrubbing the shit out of those files. Oh, they're going to release them all right. There won't be shit in there. Or there'll be just bullshit added to it, you know? But it's the worker bees that I'm focused on. The fucking worker bees. Let me give you that list again. Michael Aquino, Gabe Hoffman, Thomas Schoenberger, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, and his little Satanic Temple after school daycare, which is what they're using to focus and target the kids. Sewertown, who's all on that Famalam thing. Gabe Hoffman is running with Glenna. And now Glenna is saying, oh, I didn't want to talk to him at Christmas and he freaked out on me and stuff like that. I don't talk to anybody on Christmas. I make it a point not to talk to anybody. I just want to be left alone at the holidays. And I'm not weird about the phone. Anybody who's talked to me on the phone, I make that caveat right away. I'm not weird about the phone. So if you text me, don't expect me to call you back immediately. I'll call you back when I want to call you back. I'm old enough to remember a time we didn't have cell phones. And so, local clowns might have a few surprises. They're being watched, is what I know. They're being watched. Not by me either, because I don't watch their shit. I don't even... Fuck, they send me videos, all of that. I never fucking open them up. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's all the same shit anyway. I mean, if I was a middle schooler, maybe, a prepubescent boy, if I was back to being prepubescent, I might find them interesting. But as it is, I think their humor is taxing. I think they're taxing. I think they just grate people's nerves. Nobody finds them funny. They're too old to use the humor that they use. But they don't know, but that's because they hang out with kids all the time. Funny, when you hang out with kids, you end up starting to think you are a kid. I don't hang out with kids. Never have. Even when I was a kid, I hung out with adults. I had adult friends, even in high school. I had adult friends. I hung out with teachers, But I think that all this is being investigated. I think that this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing has fueled everything. And I think the worker bees... Oh, let me finish my list. Sewertown, that are all involved in that Famalam. I started talking about Gabe Hoffman using Glenna. I don't think he's using Sherilyn. I didn't know Sherilyn during fucking Christmas. But even still, whoever... But anybody who has shit on me, they've done this for years. But if you have stuff that you can tell them on me, they have an email address. Don't know what it is, but it's out there. You can find it. They've been doing that for years. They don't ever get anything because I'm not an asshole. I don't hurt people. Just don't. The only people that they can use are the fucking people they sent me as plants. Glenna was a plant. Glenna, who was the one who sent me the proof that I called the Jacob Wetterling Foundation and made a report. She was supposed to go see Jim Rothstein. Jim Rothstein is the dude who replaced Gary Caradori after they blew up Gary Caradori's plane with his, 10-year-old son AJ on it. They were flying back from Chicago. And who was first on the scene? None other than ex-chief of police ex-Omaha chief of police Robert Wadman. One of the very people Gary Caradori was actually investigating. Wadman had gotten a job in Illinois. And coincidentally enough, Gary Caradori's plane disintegrated in the sky in Robert Wadman's jurisdiction. He was first on the scene, And so it is stuck today. The energy is just incredible. We have been inundated with so much radiation and x-rays from the sun. We are being blasted. And it's driving people. When there are times like this, you will see conflicts everywhere. This gamma radiation sun is inundating with us, is having an effect on everything. Nature, animal life, us, you know? Jacob's killer, who they say is Jacob's killer, isn't his killer. And the story for Jacob Wetterling doesn't even make sense anymore. It was my dad. You know, it was my dad. I know, because when I called the Jacob Wetterling Foundation, I told the woman, don't tell me, I'll tell you. The guy who abducted Jacob Wetterling was driving a big blue utility truck. And he got, you know, how could he be having a meltdown? He's been in prison for fucking years. They didn't even charge him with Jacob Wetterling's abduction and murder, you know? He wasn't even charged. But then again, fuck, who knows? Maybe Trump will let him out too. He and Maxwell can go gallivant around the world together when she gets pardoned too. Shit is right in our faces. Right the fuck in our faces. And still people choose not to see it. You know? Dude, you're in here anonymously with an anonymous account spouting shit. Nobody's duped, dude. Nobody's duped. You guys all thought your shit was never going to be questioned. But that's what I've been telling everyone. If you just look at their shit, you'll find it. They brag about their shit all the fucking time. They run their mouths. They want credit for it. They tell about it. All you have to do to find their crimes is to go look for it. Because I'm sure you will find all kinds of shit. They brag about it. Fuck, last night, the dude that's sending me the stuff sends me and says, we're trying to get you to commit suicide. And then sends me a screenshot of that video where I'm being lynched. And that's the shit that they do. That's the shit that they do. Anonymously. Because the idiot kept canceling his account. He would send me an email knowing that I would send it out to everybody, Neil Gross, all of the investigators, to everyone. So then he would cancel his account. Then he'd set it back up again and send me another email. Then he'd cancel his account. And it was all night. It started at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I went to bed at 4 o'clock the afternoon before. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's typical. I'm drinking my first cup of coffee, usually 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, because I've gone to bed. You know, they've got little man behind the curtain syndrome. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And so they're being investigated. You know, I don't even bring up Jacob Wetterling anymore because everybody believes the bullshit story. So I don't even believe it. Ricky Chaddick, however, they don't have a fucking... I'm waiting for them to find a perp in jail to take credit for that one now. Because that was my father and stepmother. And my stepmother's still alive. You know? My stepmother's still alive. Dad was involved with Johnny Gosch. The abduction of Johnny Gosch. The three brothers that Noreen Gosch has talked about for fucking years. She knows that those were the Aquasino brothers. She knows everything. Noreen Gosch has enough information to actually break out her son's abduction over and over and over, and she's had it for fucking years. And where are we? Oh, that's right. She's just about ready to come out. 40-something years later. It's always, well, I'll let you know in 2 weeks. I'll let you know in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We have a great health care plan. We'll be releasing it in 2 weeks. 10 fucking years later, we're still waiting. That's how it works. I think that the people that are investigating are people who actually want to make a name for themselves. That's why I didn't focus. Thomas Schoenberger is so connected with fucking law enforcement and the law enforcement agencies. You're not going to get anything done with that motherfucker involved. Gabe Hoffman, same exact thing. Lucian Greaves, same exact fucking thing. I don't trust law enforcement. No, what I trust are politicians who need to make a name for themselves and journalists who want to make a name for themselves. You got to appeal to their fucking sense of self-worth. Got to make it worth their while. Bust open the fucking worker bees to all of this child trafficking. Oh my God. You don't understand how many people are, and what they're doing is that they're looking into it now and realizing I've been telling the truth. That's why, I don't know if Noreen Gosh is a Freemason or not. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just glad I don't talk to her anymore. I'm just glad I don't talk to hardly any of these motherfuckers. They email constantly. Johnny Dub, I think, is Lucian Greaves. And even if he's not Lucian Greaves, he's a fucking associate with Thomas Schoenberger, who fucking targeted me with that Australian dude, that Chris McKenzie Jones. Fucking targeted me every goddamn day, all day for a fucking year. And why? Why are they targeting me? Why did the dude send me the email saying that they're going to try and get me to commit suicide? Blah, 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 blah. To protect their child trafficking operation. There's no other reason. There's no other reason. It's not like I'm viral. It's not like anybody really knows who I am. A handful of people. In the world, that ain't shit. Thank you, Mika. That's what I get told all the time. If you are just telling the truth, all you have to do is remember. And that's why I don't ever contradict myself, because I'm telling the truth. And so I just have to remember. My blog, just to let you guys know, because it's on my blog anyway, went from almost no views in the last week and a half to 14 to 16,000 views a day. That's why I have a feeling things are being investigated. And these motherfuckers are on steroids. The dickhead that told me he was going to try and get me to commit suicide, he was all up all night. He was emailing me when I was still asleep. Then I got up at 3 o'clock. He went all the way till 5:30. Their paranoia seems to be driving them insane. I'm not viral on purpose. They fuck with my numbers. Shit, that one that I said that my stepmother was involved with the FamLam program that Sherilyn was connected to. When I got my little thing from YouTube Studio, it said I had 101 likes. But if you went on there, it only had like 20-something likes on it. So they fuck with my numbers all the time. They can't fuck with the numbers on my blog, And it's the security that I have on it. I just get a security report because I keep abreast of everything that's going on that blog, Yeah, it's almost impossible, Mika, to let it go. They're hitting me with their fucking directed energy weapons right now. It's been awful. It's been awful. This shit is torture. It's not going to make me commit suicide. They've been on top of me with this bullshit since I was out in Washington. What? Years. What? I'm suddenly just going to give up now that things are getting good? I don't think so. And that's why I think that St. Gur thing that has my address on it, and now it says the dogs of and my address. It is. They're desperate and paranoid because it is their last hurrah. What they've realized is that people fucking despise pedophiles. They're not well liked. People despise pedophiles. And these people know everything. Thomas Schoenberger is just this little musician. All he does is little music, but he can tell you everything there is to know about Isaac Cappy, Craig Sawyer, the child trafficking. He has his hand on everything, but he's just a little musician who makes music. That doesn't even make any sense. Doesn't even make any sense. He thinks I let up on Gabe Hoffman. I didn't let up on Gabe Hoffman. You know? But why the fuck should I be kicking? You know, I've said what I had to say. People know. I mention Gabe Hoffman's name every time I go through the fucking list. And I still have not finished that list yet. Let me start from the beginning. The worker bees for the child trafficking operation. Michael Aquino. Gabe Hoffman. Thomas Schoenberger. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. All of them work for the government. Craig Sawyer works for the government. Craig Sawyer and Thomas Schoenberger are the ones who killed Isaac at that military base. And it was Corey Daniel and Daniel Dowd who put his dead-ass corpse on that bridge. You can see the picture. He's not alive in that picture. We've all seen videos of Isaac Cappy. We know what the fuck Isaac Cappy looked like when he was alive. Go look at that picture. Look at his coloring. Look at his hands. The dude's not alive. He's dead. You're looking at a corpse standing on a bridge. And how did they get him to do that? They killed him, and then they let rigor mortis take over, and he was standing when the rigor mortis took over. So they could prop him up on that bridge. And that's exactly what he was, a prop. And why did they murder Isaac Cappy? Because he was exposing the Hollywood part of the fucking child trafficking. But Craig Sawyer, he knows better. You know? Yeah. Oh, you mean the dude who actually fucking murdered Isaac Cappy knows all about it. And he didn't have anything to do with it, right? Because that's what he says. You know? Anybody who believes these fucking dickheads, I suggest you pull your head out of your ass before you asphyxiate. That's just me. You know? Because their lies aren't even that good. They're not even thought out. And a lot of that. A lot of that. A lot of that. Or glug, 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 glug. That's Geo. And they all look bad. The dark is eating them from the inside out. And they're afraid. And they should be. Because they can't beat what's coming to get them. And there ain't time to repent. There ain't time. Even if they were compelled, which they're not. So, Stewarttown, the other part of this child trafficking. Corey Daniel, a.k.a. Phoenix Enigma. Alicia Ray, his wife, who supposedly dated Isaac Cappy, but now is married to Corey Daniel. She's known as the Sicilian Witch. Chavez, I know his last name is Chavez, I just don't know his name. DeFango. Let me finish this. Tara Joyce Randolph, whatever fucking name she gives herself. Geo Farnsworth. Farnsworth isn't the real last name. He brags about it all the time. Daniel Dowd. I'm sure there's I'm sure the list can go on, but that's where I would start. You know? He was dead soon after. Fuck, rigor mortis takes over, what, an hour? Yes, I think they made those lives. I think they had everything. That's the reason why a bridge out of nowhere, all of a sudden people were calling, saying, you know, it was all a deal. And their stories change. And they don't make any sense. And you can look at that dude on the bridge and tell he's not alive. There's no life in that dude. None. His face is expressionless. You know? I don't think that it was Isaac. I think that it was all a set-up deal. I think he called Craig Sawyer, and Craig Sawyer has admitted. Isaac Cappy reached out to him over and over and over and over and over. you know, publicly. That's what Craig Sawyer said. And then Craig Sawyer will say he didn't have any credible evidence. He didn't have any credible evidence. At the same time he's saying he didn't have any credible evidence, he hooked him up with the donor. So the dude doesn't have any credible evidence, and yet you're going to fuck someone over and get them to donate to Isaac, even though you're saying that he doesn't have any evidence of anything. It doesn't make any sense. It's the same thing as Russ Dizdar died October 18th, 2021. We were in the middle of fucking COVID lockdown, but if you go into Wikipedia, all of his friends and family were standing around him when he was dying of COVID. Because that's what happened in COVID, right? All the people that died had all those people that were in the nursing homes that were dying of COVID, their families were all around him, right? You couldn't even go in the fucking building. You know? Cappy was murdered. He was tortured to death. And Michael Aquino had a lot to do with it, because Michael Aquino was pissed because Isaac Cappy was harassing him with phone numbers that he had. Isaac Cappy had 4 of Michael Aquino's phone numbers, and he was harassing the shit out of him. That's why I stopped working with Isaac. We got into a huge fight. I don't believe Tom Hanks is. I think Tom Hanks is the same thing as when they say in the 80s they want to go, oh, we're baby killers. No babies got murdered. I think Aquino is still alive, yes. Tom Hanks wasn't involved. And do you want to know what? It wasn't Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks on that motherfucking bridge with Isaac. You know? But this is all the bullshit fucking drama shit that they throw at people. You know? Dude, you're gone. It's all this bullshit that they throw at people because people are just too goddamn lazy to actually look anything up. And they're more than eager to use their cognitive dissonance to dismiss things because they don't want to know. You know, they don't want to know. Oh, wow. My number has jumped from 12 to 37. I bet I have thousands of people when I get off of here. They have their bots on me, on top of me. You know? They want all of them concentrating on Hollywood and not on the politicians. Why do you think all the Republicans are voting against letting the Jeffrey Epstein shit come out? Do you really think it's just Trump? Really? You know? I have a PayPal and Venmo are at D Shurter, just my first initial, my last name. Or I have a buy me a coffee thing that's just my name, David Shurter. Those are the only two. So they just come in here and brag. They're sending bots. And why? Because they're fucking protecting their child trafficking bullshit. That's what it is. They're protecting their fucking child trafficking bullshit. Why else would you spend money to send bots to someone else? Do you guys have money to send bots to people? I don't. Do you even have... Are you even compelled to do such a thing? I'm not. You know? I'm not. It's not Democrats. Democrats aren't fucking hiding. All the Democrats have voted to release it. That's the reason why they won't swear in that woman that's a Democrat. Because then they'll have 218 signatures. It's all Republicans. It's not Democrats. The Democrats are not behind closing the government down. Republicans own the House. They own Congress. They own the presidency. And they have the Supreme Court. If they wanted to pass a fucking budget bill, they could easily do it, and they don't need Democrats to do it. Democrats and Republicans is a ruse. They're all involved. Who are we fighting? We're fighting the 1% that owns 97% of the wealth. And now they want the last 3%. They want it all because they have an insatiable want inside of them. Elon Musk will never have enough. None of them. Bill Gates will never have enough. Mark Zuckerberg will never have enough. They'll never have enough. All they want is more and more and more and more. And they pay everybody off. Democrats, Republicans, they serve their donors. That's who they serve. The ones who gave them the money. Clintons are also involved. There's no one that's high up that isn't involved. You know, Bushes were involved, Clintons were involved, Obama was involved, fucking Biden was involved, Trump is involved. You know? Oh my God, that is the stupidest fucking thing. 30,000 is not. $500 billion. That's part of 1%. Not $30,000 a year, dumbass. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And nobody fucking believes you. You just spouting stupid shit. I don't give a fuck. 30,000 a year is not the top 1%, dumbass. Google it. I just time them out. Don't have time. Don't have the interest. Don't have the interest. They're focused on me. They're feeding bots to my numbers. They email me fucking all hours of the goddamn night. They have their directed energy weapons on top of me. And why? Because they want to fucking protect their child fucking operation. You know? Exactly. Watch them pop up with another name. Voila. Wow. Ina. I think it's funny. I'm not laughing at you, Ina. I'm just laughing. They pop up and then you go, and I know you were typing it before they did it. They typed up, they came into with another name. They have a million fucking accounts. They have all these sock accounts. They're all fake. But that's the thing about this fucking, see, this dude can shut his Proton Mail down all they want. Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross is not the only one who has access to that Shadow Dragon program. And that Shadow Dragon program is designed to bust child traffickers. They do not have, you can hide your email address all you want. That Shadow Dragon program will come right down to who set it up and where it initially came from. That Shadow Dragon program is designed to bust up child traffickers. And Neil Gross ain't the only one with that technology. He's not the only one with that technology. Oh my God, they're like fucking middle schoolers. They do. They have bots. Who cares? Who cares? I personally just don't give a shit. Their games only work, but people are onto them now. That's what needed to happen. People needed to know who they were. Because they're stupid. They fucking run around. They want credit for every nasty motherfucking thing they do. So they brag about it, post about it on YouTube, talk about it in chat rooms, blah, 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 blah. Which makes it very convenient. Anybody who's looking for them can go find all that shit. Can go find it all. It's not like it's well hidden. It's not hidden at all. Pretty easy to find. People needed to have someone with those. Bring in the plane. Bring in the plane. And that's what I'm doing. Over here, I'm bringing in the plane. You know? I don't answer their calls. They can leave a voicemail. And I don't really open their emails. If you go look on my blog, you can see there's a lot of emails I did not open. Because I just don't care. You know? And it's the same old shit anyway. And it's all bizarro shit. What kind of fuckhead? Obviously, I'm not having sex with my dogs. But the fact that this dude is running around saying that says way more about him than it does about me. You know? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Oh, fuck, I had the weirdest one from the dude that calls himself John from Australia. The dude was so drunk. I didn't even listen to it, but I sent it out to other people who did. They were like, that was the freakiest fucking voicemail I've ever heard in my life. I don't listen to this shit. I don't care. It's just the same old fucking bullshit anyway. Who cares? You know? I don't even have to listen or read to it, and I can basically quote it verbatim. You know? As far as the directed energy weapon shit, Max Spears was right. He said if you go through it long enough, you get used to it. You don't really get used to it. It's not like it just becomes a normal thing, but it doesn't have the same effect on you. What they're trying to do is get me to have a heart attack or a stroke. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me to have a heart attack or a stroke. And they think that their shit is going on. And then they tell everybody, oh, David's so angry. He's so angry. Do you know how exhausting it is to be angry all the time? I'm not angry. Their shit irritates me. But that doesn't mean when I get off of here, you guys just see me on here talking about them and usually having to deal with them. So yeah, I get irritable. But as soon as the shit is over, fuck, yesterday I had to move my studio inside because it's too cold to be out on the 3-season porch. It's going to get too cold. You know? They want us suffering. They do. Which is fine. Because karma can be a bitch. Especially when you have someone who can fucking return the shit to you. That's what I was trained to do. That's the easiest thing to do. Return someone's energy to them. It's what I did to Sherilyn. It's what I did to Glenna. It's what I've done to all of them. Just return their shit to them. Return their energy to them. It's the easiest fucking thing. There's no manifestation involved. Just focus and directing. Easy shit to do. You know? And obviously they're aware of it. Because when that Deputy White came to my house that day, I know they told him not to look me in the eye and shake my hand. So when I held out my hand to shake his hand to say thank you that he was leaving, I know that 6'5" kid does not shake hands like a formal 18th century proper woman. He handed his hand to me like this. I wasn't sure if I should shake it or kiss it. And at the exact same time he did that, he almost put his face through my fucking outside glass door. Because he turned around to get away from me so fast he didn't want to look me in the face. I felt kind of sorry for the kid. But it tells me. They know. I don't talk out my ass. When I say I can do something, it's because I know I can. You know? They would not survive even a moment, Mika. Not even a moment. Entitled little pussies who cry and whine at everything and then call out everybody. You know? It's real. That directed energy weapon shit, it's easy to find. Shit, I've put the link out there. Go to my blog, type in directed energy weapon. Read the thing about, go watch the video with Mark Esper. He was just Department of Defense. Talking about how they had these lasers. You know? Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't all wrong when she said that there were space lasers. It's just they're not fucking Jewish. Why would you say they were Jewish? Why would you put a clear classification? They're not fucking Jewish. What? The Jews run the CIA? I don't think so. But, you know. Oh, Anonymous 1776 comes in. Says I have Jerry curls. And then he retracted the message. So I just blanked him out. You know. It's Tesla's stolen energies. They were expecting me to be dead a long time ago. Well, dude, you are a fucking idiot. So you would know. You are a fucking idiot. So you would know exactly what a fucking idiot sounds like, I would assume. You know? Oh, it causes brain damage. It causes scarring on the inside. Your organs get scarred. But it's, you know, I have the NBC News article on my blog that says when the U.S. Air Force went in front of Congress in 2006, said they had these weapons, and they were going to use them on American citizens to show the rest of the world they were safe. That was in 2006. It's now 2025. And yet we're still fucking arguing whether or not they fucking exist or not. And I can also show you the paperwork, the government paperwork, for the patent, for the directed energy weapon toy that they have. You know? But the Havana syndrome is caused by magic, I guess. Voldemort and his Death Eaters are waving their magic wands. Unless you believe the official story, everyone worked at the China embassy, everyone who worked at the Cuban embassy, they were all fucking mentally ill. Every fucking one of them. That's what they say. That's what they say. But that's what they say about every fucking victim. You know? Oh, he doesn't know. He's crazy. Oh, she doesn't know. She's crazy. Don't listen to her. She's crazy. Listen to us, but we're fucking liars, child traffickers, and we're the ones using the directed energy weapons on anyone we need to have shut up. That's the case. That's how it works. You know? No, my house was blue and it didn't repel it. And it's bad. Right now it's bad. But they're being investigated. And they're very upset about it. They're very, very upset about it. What are you talking about, Mika? Andrew Tate deserves to be in fucking prison. He's a goddamn child trafficker who was invited to come live in America by Donald Trump's administration. You know? They obviously like child traffickers. He's getting ready to pardon Maxwell. Otherwise, he would just say no. You know? Oh. Someone's using his name is all I meant. Yeah, they love to have, they love to actually be the fucking child traffickers. They aspire to be like them. It's fucking disgusting. Disgusting. I knew, Mika, that you weren't being weird or anything. You seem like a pretty upright person. And you have a picture and a name. And you haven't really said anything. You've been a good contribution to this. Right. It was an oxymoronic statement and a weird name to hide behind. I'm going to hide behind the name of a child trafficker and then tell you there's no such thing as child trafficking. Anybody who believes them, again, I would go to the emergency room because you will probably die of asphyxiation if you do not get your head out of your ass soon. With that said, I'm going to pray. Then I'm going to get off here. It's been a cold, rainy day here. And I was really glad that I got my studio moved in yesterday because I wouldn't have liked to do it today. And so, well, believe whatever the fuck you want, dude. I don't give a shit. And nobody else does either. That's the problem. Nobody cares. Plenty of people do believe it. And your fucking anonymous ass coming in here and trying to cause dissension isn't doing anything. You know? Maybe it would work if you were dealing with middle schoolers, which is what your group usually likes to deal with. But adults, not so much. Just saying. Oh, well. He doesn't care as long as it's not his kids. Isn't that the prevalent thing? I don't care if it's not my kids. What the fuck do I care? It's exactly how it works. Not my kids. I don't care. Sucks to be those kids. That's how it works. Okay. Heaven, we come to you. I come to you. Since I'm the one who's praying. I want to be quite forthright and tell you how much I appreciate. I know that you are sending people to that blog. For the first time ever. For the first time ever. I think people are actually looking into it, things now. And I'm very happy. We live in crazy days. Very stressful. Very scary. And Just fill us with grace. Keep us on the right path. Keep us motivated to keep moving forward. Your Son, Jesus Christ, came down and taught us the word. Saved me. Saved me. The word saved me. Saved my soul. And I will be eternally grateful for that, no matter what happens. But we say these things lovingly and with compassion in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. There is fucking so much more than 30,000 pages of those Epstein files. There are terabytes of information. Stay true to you. It would take a lifetime to get through all of it. Waterboarding doesn't do shit. They just lie. They just lie. And she's a known liar. She's, one of her charges is perjury. You know? She's not going to tell the truth. What, so she can end up like her partner? She doesn't want to end up dead in jail. She knows that's what was coming. But I'm hoping that they do release her out of jail. I hope Trump gives her a pardon, because I don't think her life will be worth a dime after that. I think there's plenty of people who are more than willing to take that bitch out. Sad to say. Sad to say. But people, you know, when you have J.D. DeLay running around calling for a wood chipper all the time, that has an effect on people. It sure does. Things are being investigated. Someone is fucking looking at this shit on my blog. 14 to 16,000 people, and it just started 2 weeks ago. It just started 2 weeks ago. And they're trying to break into it too, but I pay for security on that freaking blog. I'm the only one who probably has a blog. They, you know, I have to pay security for. She won't be able to show her face in general public. That's what's happening to all of them now. They're all now afraid. They're all afraid. That's exactly what I said. People are going to get pissed off. And then they're going to all have to hide in their homes. All these politicians who think that they live on Mount Olympus. You know? Better not be walking around with the common man. Chasing you out of a fucking restaurant will be the least of your worries, unfortunately. You know? I keep that blog. I've had that blog since 2011. That blog is older than this channel. And this channel's over 15 years old now. I'm 15 plus. You know? And so people don't like fucking pedophiles. They don't. And these idiots lie so much. Before I end, let me go through the list again. Michael Aquino, Gabe Hoffman, Thomas Schoenberger, Lucian Greaves, Doug Masico, a.k.a. Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Johnny Dubb, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. You know? Sewertown. But they're all white. Well, I will say, everyone that I'm fighting as the worker bees, there's not one person of color in amongst any of them. Not one. Not one. Corey Daniel, a.k.a. Phoenix Enigma, his wife, Alicia Ray, a.k.a. the Sicilian Witch, Chavez, I think it's Manuel Chavez, he's also known as Defango, Tara Joyce, Gabe Hoffman, Geo Farnsworth, Craig Sawyer, Ron Patton, Ron Patton's whole group in Olympia, Washington, that's directly connected to Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Sid Seymour, I don't know if he's still alive. He was in San Francisco. He was directly connected with Michael Aquino. They were pals. Sid Seymour. He was in Seattle. He was in Seattle and he was in San Francisco. I think he lived in Seattle. Sid Seymour. This whole group of people needs to be investigated. And once you start investigating them, they'll lead you to more. They will. Because these are fucking dumbasses. They have bragged for years over their shit. Their stories have changed for years. You just need to go in and take what they've said and what they're doing and everything with a microscope. And believe nothing. You know? I'm not asking for people to just believe me. I just need you to investigate it. You know? Police. Investigators. And there's plenty of people who want to make a name for themselves on all this shit because now they're starting to realize people fucking hate pedophiles. So, bad day to be a fucking pedophile. And I'm more than happy to tie a goddamn millstone around their neck. More than happy to help with that. More than happy. And God only knows how long I'm going to be around. The directed energy weapon shit is bullshit. It's a bullshit. And it needs to be exposed too. This shit needs to be exposed. By someone other than Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's saying it's fucking Jewish. It's not Jewish. Which Jews control the CIA? What Jews controlled Michael Aquino? What Jews control, you know? It doesn't have anything to do with religious affiliation. But it does have a lot to do with political affiliation. It does have a lot to do with political affiliation. But that's not saying that there aren't plenty of Democrats involved. It's just who's voting to hide it right now and who's not. It's pretty simple to look at. It's pretty just simple who wants the truth out there and who doesn't. You know? It could have been stopped a long time ago, and it never was. And I think that it's not going to happen now either. I think it's going to become exposed. That's what I think. Everything's going to be drug out into the light. But honestly, Mika, you've been at this. I've been at this. My belief is the only one who's going to bring an end to this is God. Heaven. Heaven. Free Palestine for real. What's happening in Palestine is wrong. What's happening in Gaza is so wrong. Is so wrong. What's happening in Ukraine? So wrong. So wrong. Genocide is wrong. And the fact that we actually have to say that and clarify genocide is wrong tells you how fucked up our days are right now. Genocide is okay as long as it's everybody else. But the motherfuckers who think that okay are the first ones bitching and crying and whining when it comes to them. But otherwise, it's okay for everyone else. You know, same fucking thing with the child trafficking. I don't give a shit about child traffickers. Not my kids. Why do I care? That's how it works. But then when it does become your kids, you will realize there's no one who will help you. You'll be lucky if they don't clarify your kids. If they're old enough, they'll just classify them as a fucking runaway. Write it right off. Runaways don't get investigated. That's why we have so many runaways. You know? Oh my God. They're showing videos on TikTok of children in Palestine. It's not fucking adult males in Hamas that they're all taken out. There's children who are suffering horribly. People who have nothing to do with anything. Shit, Russia bombs us. How much do any of you feel like you have an influence over the politicians in Washington, D.C.? You know? Something better. How about you learn compassion, dickhead? How about that? How about you learn compassion? Well, you don't need compassion, right? Those children deserve what they're getting, right? They deserve to starve. They deserve to have bombs dropped on them. They deserve to live in fucking rubble. They deserve it, right? You know? You come in here anonymously and start to actually talk shit and then think that you're actually going to be respected. And it isn't going to happen. You know? Hey, France. I am talking to people in the chat like I am Miss Terry Childs. And I'll block you just as freely. This is my venue, dickhead, not yours. Go talk all the shit you want, wherever the fuck you want. But not on my shit. Not on my venue. Go set up your own venue. You know? Freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequences. That's right. The thing I can say is that Charlie Kirk lived and died by his ideals. You know? Lived by his ideals. But what I find interesting is that Charlie Kirk is the first fucking school shooting a bunch of these motherfuckers have ever cared about. First one. First school shooting they've ever cared about. Otherwise, who gives a fuck, right? It's sad. We live in a sad world. We live in a sad world. Everyone's okay with every evil happening to everyone else. Just not them. You know? I didn't like Charlie Kirk when he was alive. I'm not going to glorify him now that he's dead. Just not. We are totally desensitized. We don't care. Our hearts have grown cold to stay. Our hearts have turned to stone, just like was written in the end. We would be ruled by lawlessness. Lawlessness, and people's hearts would turn to stone, and no one would give a shit. You want to know where we're at? I said this in one of my last lives. Go read The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis. It's the 7th book of the Chronicles of Narnia. It's the last book of the Chronicles of Narnia. Go read The Last Battle. And then compare it to where we are now. You know? Charlie Kirk was a fucking racist dickhead. That's why I didn't like him. He preached hate and dissension. That's what he preached. And he got killed, and I don't even think that dude killed him because he got shot from the back, not from the front. It's not like it's not on video. He slumps before the fucking hole shows up in front of his throat. That kid didn't kill him. Didn't kill him. You know? I saw that. You want to know what? If Larry King Jr. is working in a church, then they obviously don't care. Don't tell me they don't know who he is. Or someone has to know. You know? Working around kids. Fuck. Isn't that where it usually happens? You know? Didn't feel comfortable. If a black man was the pilot, if the black man wasn't the fucking janitor, Charlie Kirk didn't have anything. Charlie Kirk and Stephen Miller, not so far apart. You know? Not so far apart. And you're a racist cult leader or cult follower. You're involved in a cult. You like hate. You know? I'm trying to fucking expose a bunch of goddamn child traffickers. And you're in here fucking arguing about someone you didn't know personally. I didn't know personally. You know? And yet here you are. What, you have nothing better to do in your life? You have nothing better to do in your life. Oh, yeah. Millions of people focused on Charlie Kirk, you know? Well, you want to know what, dude? All your DEIs, they're just white now. They're DEIs. They're just white. We have a fucking bunch of dumbasses fucking running our goddamn government. Planes can't even fucking make it. Because we don't have enough air traffic control people, you know? But I don't see your entitled white ass getting up and fucking doing roofing. I don't see you doing the manual labor. I don't see your fucking asses out in the fields picking the shit. You know? They're okay if they're slaves. They just can't have good jobs. But your uneducated fucking ass deserves. Didn't go to school, didn't do shit, sitting here fucking arguing with someone you don't even know on YouTube, and yet you are more deserving than they are. And then you think people are going to respect you for that. Would you respect them? You know? I got to get off here before I become irritable. You know? Keep your guys' heads up. You know? It's darkest before the dawn. And it's about to get very dark. It already is. Shit, who can afford weed? You know? Maybe. Maybe. But I'm actually making a fucking difference. And I'm not in my 60s, dickhead. You know? But however old you are, you're in here arguing with the dude you don't know how old he is, thinking that you're something. You know, that's how pathetic you fucking are. It's just sad. I'm 58 fucking years old, dumbass. You know, I am making a difference. I'm getting people confused. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. Not at all. But see, they want everyone to think that I'm angry, so if they can get me to drop over dead with the directed energy weapons, they can say, oh, they think he's crazy. Dude, you tell me what people think about in my town. Do you live here? Do you know the people that I know? The people that I talked to today, I went out and talked to everybody. You know, talked to a bunch of people. They don't think I'm angry. You don't live here. All you are fucking child traffickers trying to bring me down so that you can fucking go on with your goddamn child trafficking operation. That's how it works. That's how it works. And it's all goddamn government. It's all fucking government. They're all in here fighting to fuck your kids. That's what it's about. They're all in here to fight so that they can keep fucking your children. And they want you to respect them for that. Really? Dude, you're in here fucking just trying to cause dissension. If you don't like what I have to say, then go the fuck away. No one's holding you by gunpoint to be in here. You've made a choice. Whether or not you wish to be responsible or held accountable for that choice doesn't negate the fact that nobody is holding you hostage. You know? And you're in here because you're concerned people are listening to me. And they are listening to me. You know? Child trafficking needs to be exposed. And I don't have any fucking time for these goddamn child killers. I don't. And I didn't talk to Glenna on Christmas. But do I think she works with a bunch of fucking child killers? Yeah. Yep. All involved with Famalam. Does Sherilyn work with a bunch of fucking child killers? Yep. Mm-hmm. Did she try and set me up as a honeypot? I never had access to that Gmail that she was promoting everywhere. I don't even know who fucking wrote to that Gmail. Because they're into child trafficking. They're trying to protect their child trafficking operation. And they'll come in here and do and say whatever the fuck they think they can to keep people from actually focusing on it. You know? Glenna was my moderator. Or no, Sherilyn was my moderator. Glenna was the first one. She was the one that they first sent me. Go type in Glenna, davidshurter.com. Shit will come up. You know? I just did a prayer, but I'll say a prayer before I end. And it's probably good to pray for those children. Heaven, there are a bunch of people in here who actually are really concerned about kids. And they want prayers. They're asking for prayers for those kids. Please protect those kids. And lessen the hold that the child traffickers have on them and their parents and the communities and the media. Relinquish their hold. Let them be exposed. And help the children. All of them. All of them. In the United States, the ones that are, their parents are being fucking taken out by goddamn Nazis. Because the shit that's happening with ICE is exactly what they did in Germany in World War II. If you watch V for Vendetta, it's the same fucking thing they were doing in the movie. It's not a new thing. It's just we can't call it as we see it now. You know? But I'm going to go take a bath and you know I'll end up praying for hours in the bathtub. But, we love you. Please help us through these days. There's a great gnashing of teeth. People's hearts have turned to stone. They don't care. And now evil is being touted as good and good is being touted as evil. And anyone who says otherwise is pounced upon and quieted. And just help us get through these days. We realize that a bunch of us are supposed to get martyred, so just help us follow the path that you need us on. And we say these things lovingly in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, guys, I gotta get out of here. Besides, I'm at 107. My prayer also went for the children in Ukraine. Also for the children in Palestine. Also the people that are fucking suffering in Russia and China and India. You know? Jesus Christ saves. I just wish he did it in a more timely manner. And I'm not saying anything I haven't already said to heaven and pray to Jesus Christ all the time. There's a lot of us who are tired of waiting. But I think that our prayers are about to be answered. You know? But it's exhausting to be at this all the time. It's exhausting to be fighting with someone at 3 o'clock in the morning. Psychotic middle schooler. That's what they all are. They're all like these psychotic middle schoolers. Insolent little fucking brats. Okay, I'm out of here. I will be back on Thursday for sure. Unless something happens, and God only knows, then I might be on tomorrow. But otherwise, I'll be on Thursday. I'm trying to do Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday without fail. And then if I throw one or two back in there, I throw one or two extra ones in there. And I may only be talking to 30 people, and that's fine. It's the quality of people I'm talking to, not the quantity. I never got in this to go viral. I got in this to make a difference and get this child trafficking bullshit to stop. That's my only focus. That's always been my focus. And I'm never going to stop. I just, until it stops, I don't see the reason why I should. And I think a lot of you are in here. Thank you, Ina. You guys have been wonderful, as always. You know, as always. They're just a group of you out here that are just amazing. And I know you care. And you tell me that I'm helping you guys feel compelled to keep fighting. And so it makes this worth it. You know, if I can help one person, I feel that my life has been a life worth lived. Flat out. Just takes one. There's more than one, but it only took one. And with that said, have a really blessed night, guys.